it's bull or bear, I don't care. It's quite a rough ride, just like life. But I'm kinda patient, 'cause only time will tell. It's gonna go up, so you better stay calm. And grow your coins, you gotta grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins. Grow your coins, you gotta grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins. Grow your coins, you gotta grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome. I am the Crypto Crow. It is Saturday, and it is a somber day in the crypto market. It's about 11:52 on October 11th, and there's a lot to talk about today. I am infuriated. I am disgusted, and I know what to say, but I don't know what to say, but we're going to try anyway. Obviously, I wasn't planning on going live or doing anything this weekend. But what happened yesterday is absolutely beyond disgusting on every conceivable level. And I basically watched as my exchange account went kaput, and I saw the crypto market completely crash out in the most historical disgust. I'm still a little shaky. I watched Cardano drop all the way down to 27 cents in basically no time at all. I watched the entire crypto space get flushed out. It felt like seconds, and it felt like seconds because all of us that were trading at all were completely locked out of being able to do anything about what was happening. And I'm going to explain why some of this is the case. But actually, I'm going to pull up a different chart because, well, let's see here. So I'm gonna pull up a window first. I'm gonna show you what happened. And the first thing I want to say is whether you believe it or not, I do not think that this bull market is over. I know it sounds insane, but I'm going to explain to you why. In one quick sentence, there's no liquidity below. It's all to the upside. Like Cardano's concentration of liquidity right now is at $1. It's over $1. I don't think the bull market is over. I think what just happened was, I feel like every crypto cycle, we get a dramatic something, whether it was like an FTX or we had COVID, we had all this stuff, and it always sends the market down, right? And then everything goes up into new highs and everything. It's almost like I don't know how to explain it, and I don't want YouTube's algorithm is so touchy. It's like you have to be careful what you say. But if you imagine like an apocalyptic catastrophe, and then the world rebuilds, right? And I feel like that's kind of what's been prepared, but not without its disgust and not without its orchestration. And we're gonna go into some of that. So the first thing I want to show you, this is my chart, okay, or a chart. This shows you that as to the right here is Bitcoin's dominance. Okay, it was sitting here around 59 cents, and it basically shot up to around 62.5%. And I'm going to say this very, very plainly, and I don't care at this point. I'm watching Benjamin Cowan gloating all over X as people have off themselves, as people have been liquidated for their life savings, as people have been, and he's to me, honestly, I don't know if this is autism. I don't know what it is, but to sit around gloating on X about how right you were is one of the most disgusting things I've seen any crypto influencer do in the longest time. And I don't care if this pisses you off. I think it's there's no tact, it's distasteful, and it's disgusting. And not only that, what happened yesterday was not a common, typical occurrence in the market space. Everybody was liquidated. There were altcoins yesterday that went to zero. Did you predict that as well? What happened yesterday was an orchestrated flush. This wasn't typical market conditions that we basically predicted. As I said in an X post, Gareth Salloway looked like he was made prophetic yesterday. And I don't know a time that guy's been right. Okay. And I'm sorry, he's a nice guy. I've met him in person. But this guy was calling for an $8,000 Bitcoin all the way up to 70,000 last cycle and never batted an eye. And it's like, all of these, Tone Vase, who was calling for like a $4,000 Bitcoin or $2,000 Bitcoin all the way up to 69,000. None of those guys, if they were on any altcoin at all, basically trolling any altcoin in the market yesterday, they would have all been accurate. So I would take your little hat of self-congratulations off and go sit in a corner somewhere and think about who you are as a human being. That's what I have to say to you, Mr. Benjamin Cowan, somebody who I've respected for years, somebody who I've felt I basically tried to shine a spotlight on when you had very, very few subscribers on YouTube, because your work is solid. You're a smart guy, but you got a marble loose to go around gloating on the internet about how fucking great you are, okay? Find yourself, brother. Find yourself. We basically watched this entire market crash down. On the left here, as Bitcoin's dominance was rising, we see Cardano hit 27 cents. We saw altcoins hit zero. I'm looking through X today, and I got to be honest. I feel like this was one of the, here. So let me explain something. Okay. There are a lot of conspiracies going around about this. A lot of people are pissed at Trump. And I don't know that this is necessarily, I mean, a lot of people are trying to paint this. Of course, anyone with TDS is going to be painting this like it's like orchestrated by Trump. I think everybody's giving Trump too much credit. I mean, let's be honest, folks. He's got major financial players involved with Solana that's basically like involved in this whole administration. Trump doesn't know shit about crypto, okay? He's got a group of people that do things as it relates to crypto. And I don't think I don't really think he knows. I don't think he understands. I truly don't believe Trump knows crypto. Okay. Keep in mind, back in like 2020, he's the one that basically taxed Bitcoin, if you remember correctly. And I know that a lot of you guys out there, you guys think I'm hardcore Trumper or whatever, that I'm MAGA. I'm not. I never fucking have been. I'm more along the lines of, if I were to compare myself to anybody, I would say I was more in line with like a Joe Rogan, where I'm much more in the middle. I would much rather everybody figure out a way to get along. But I see all of the shit that's going on with the left politically, with the media, with big pharma, all these major corporations, these major donors to people on the left, and how they just the overall globalist agenda, man. I mean, hell, I've talked about this ad nauseum, but I'm also not far right or MAGA or whatever. And I don't really give a shit what anybody has to say about that anymore, because the fact is, this is something that I feel could potentially have been avoided with a little more common sense. Whether Trump was the cause of this, I don't know. Were people that are in his inner circle in the know of what was coming? Because there are reports that there was a wallet that was created brand new that basically pushed a bunch of capital to a decentralized exchange. I think it was Hyperliquid, if I'm not mistaken. And they basically shorted the market heavy right before Trump made his 100% China tariff announcement. Not only that, but in the midst of this short that all happened very, very quickly, he added to it at the very end, made something like 88 million. Oh, here it is right here. Well, this is I think this is a chat with Moondev. Interesting. Moondev's an interesting cat. He does a lot of algorithmic bot coding and stuff like that on his channel. But some of his videos are like 4 hours long. And Anyway, I like him actually, but it's like hard to watch some of his stuff because it goes on for hours and hours and hours. And it's almost like just somebody chilling, while he's coding and talking the whole time. So anyway, but he's hosting this, and I know this is what they're talking about. This guy made $88 million in this short. That's somebody in the know. And here's the thing. I'm probably going to say this a lot. I have so much on my mind right now, and I'm so frustrated. And I'm truly disgusted by some of the true colors I'm seeing from people in the midst of all this. And we're going to go down X. We're just going to hang. I'm going to try and chill. I don't know how long this video is going to go. I don't really give a shit. I'm just going to say what I want, and it is what it is. And if you don't like it, fuck right off. That's how I feel. Sorry, not sorry. I'm so disgusted by everything in this market right now. I haven't lost faith, I haven't lost hope, and I haven't lost my inspiration, especially for Cardano. But the market overall is such a cesspool of shit, and I feel like I'm starting to see where people belong in the space, and it's disheartening to some extent, and that's just true. I just feel disgusted by it. But I will say, I believe. Okay. So before I share some of this, I'm gonna explain some things. All right. Number one, Binance, the number one exchange in the world. Where is it out of? China. Very early in the Trump administration, he called in CZ, Coinbase, all the Kraken, I think, Gemini, I think maybe, yeah, Gemini. The twins were there. All of these guys. And he basically pulled them in. I don't know what this meeting said. I don't know what I don't know how the meeting was conducted or what the point of it was. But I do believe that since that time, the market has been insanely suppressed across the board. If I'm going to speculate and I'm going to guess on the way this conversation went, it would have been something to the effect of, we're going to change crypto. We're going to be pro crypto. We're going to be working on a lot of laws and regulation and a lot of things. We're going to be getting the institutions involved. We're going to have ETFs. Everything is going to be clear skies for the crypto space because we need this to solve a bunch of problems, and we need you to play your roles. I'm not saying this happened, but I'm saying that if I were to hazard a guess, I would say, I believe that the market has been intentionally suppressed until these laws, regulations come out and the ETFs follow, so that they lift their thumb off of all of the price suppression that we've been seeing. And where have we been seeing the bulk of a lot of this price suppression? Binance. Why Binance? Why the top like 4 major crypto exchanges in the market? Because as the biggest exchanges in the market, hold on, I see I'm going to do this real quick. Crow, the Min crypto was taken over by Wall Street. It killed it for the little guy. I'm beginning to lose faith, man. Don't lose faith, Brian. We're not done. Now, I talked about this in the past. Years ago, I was working on building an exchange. I wanted to launch my own exchange, and I had a billionaire investor involved. I had a good friend of mine involved who does really well. And we were building out this exchange, and we were building it through a company that, as the days went by, I just felt less and less comfortable because I didn't feel comfortable being responsible for basically like everything that would have been on this exchange, like user funds, all of it, man, between hacks, just everything that that happens in crypto. And I probably would have made so much money with it. But it didn't feel right. It just didn't. And I don't regret the decision, but I decided to pull the plug on it. I pissed off the billionaire investor. He was mad, threatened to sue me. He didn't, thank God. I think he understood. And lo and behold, one of the main companies that we were going to go through later filed bankruptcy. Now, because basically it was, you can either be a service business, or you need to have all these individual state licenses. And a way to get around that was to basically go through Prime Trust, which was a nationally chartered banking institution. And so I think we paid them like 20 grand. And I was like we were their first client. Shortly after that, Binance US started working with them. And guess who else started working with them? Celsius. Alex Mashinsky started working with them. Well, they closed off that relationship with Celsius. I don't remember how long it took, but they closed it off, never announced why. They just basically said, we're pulling back. We're not going to be doing business with them. And I'm like, ooh, interesting. So that was a public thing. And I don't think many people really, even myself, didn't fully contemplate like what that meant. But the long and short of it is Prime Trust went under, right? And I think some people might have even went to jail. I don't know. So overall is a damn good call on my part. That billionaire should probably have called me and said, you know what, you were right. Thank you for saving us all a bunch of shit. It just didn't feel right to me. My gut was telling me, don't do this, don't do this. And we were weeks from launching. So to put that into perspective. Now, the one thing that I learned about how exchanges work is when you're a new exchange, you need liquidity. Well, as a new exchange, you don't have any. You don't have a lot of market makers. You don't have much of anything. So the way to obtain it and to basically get that price action flow, that order book, the buys and sells and all those orders, that's all basically through what's called a liquidity pipeline. Now, I've talked about this in the past. What happens, what a liquidity pipeline is that I say, I'm launching this new exchange. I need price action to match the market so that my exchange isn't used for like arbitrage and all kinds of other nonsense. I can't have Bitcoin sitting at 110,000 on my exchange when it's 130,000 on another. So a liquidity pipeline is where you call somebody like Binance or Coinbase or Kraken or whoever, and you say, hey, you're like the biggest exchange in the world. I would love to use your liquidity pipeline. I need your order book data so that my customers can place orders and buys and sells and everything along with the rest of the market. And I'm going to pay you a fraction of a percentage of the transactional volume on my platform. Okay. Now, what happens is that these large exchanges, primarily Binance, all of these other exchanges that operate are operating using Binance's liquidity pipeline. So the bulk of the exchanges out there in the world are basically using Binance's order book. That's why lately when we've been seeing on X, I mean, hell, for the past several months, there are these internet sleuths that are watching Binance wallets, and they're constantly announcing Binance is dumping another $10 million on the exchanges in Bitcoin and Ethereum. Why those two? Because they control the flow of the market. When Bitcoin goes up, generally the rest of the market goes up. When Bitcoin goes down, the rest of the market goes down. So they really only need to control two assets to affect change across all assets in the space. As odd as that sounds, but that's where a lot of the primary flow goes. Now, to demonstrate that is very simple. If you look at Bitcoin dominance, right? If you look at Bitcoin dominance over here on the right, as that was rising, okay, because all of these other assets are flowing into Bitcoin as Bitcoin's dropping, you're getting this flush down, right? Now, I believe that in my personal opinion, okay, I don't know, I have no evidence of any of this, none of this. But I do believe that when Trump announced this 100% tariff on China went to their boy CZ and said, hey, you know how you only did this much time in jail? Now it's time to pay the piper. You're going to dump this market. And that's what I think happened. I don't know for sure. I'm just making up shit. But I believe that CZ single-handedly has more control over the entire crypto market than probably any other single entity in crypto. And that's what I believe. And when they dumped everything and they did now there are all these things, algorithmic bots and this and that, it was a cascading effect. Maybe some of that is true, but I think that this was originally triggered by Binance, if I'm going to hazard a guess, and it filtered out into all the exchanges. Now, what else happened on all these exchanges? Well, all the exchanges, all of their order books got screwed up. The volume of everybody trying to react at the same time shut all these exchanges down. So now, and you know, I will say the exchange I'm on was running slow all day. I don't know what happened. I don't know. And this is after I was told specifically in chats that I have saved that everything's resolved. Like the exchange should never shut down again, that everything should work fine and this and that. Because there have been several instances where something has happened to my account because the exchange just decided to shut down due to high volume. And they were just, telling me, oh, no, this is all taken care of. Well, of course it wasn't, because I got liquidated. I got liquidated hard. I was in a long trade, and I was kind of experimenting with staying in a long trade and just adding margin to my trade. I was at a 4x leverage. Okay. I wasn't trying to be a degenerate. I was at a 4x leverage trade, and I had added enough margin to get my liquidation price in Cardano down to 49 cents. Okay. And I had the means of adding more to it to drop it into the 30s if I really wanted. And then if I really wanted, I could have dropped it even lower, because I have plenty of Cardano that I could have basically thrown into the account. But I was locked out. I couldn't do anything. So I was basically liquidated for the majority of my trade, which hurt. I mean, it hurt. Okay. And it hurt because there was nothing I could do about it because the exchange shut down, which I do believe these exchanges are liable for that. They absolutely have to be. And I don't give a shit where in the world they're located. They are liable for that. My hope is that the exchange I'm on does something to help take care of the situation for me, because it's one thing to have this all happen. It's another that your exchange is not like properly set up to basically keep your customers in power of their own trades. Like the minute your exchange shuts down because of high volume, that's bullshit. Now, the other thing I've noticed is that not every exchange did this. Not every exchange shut down. Not every exchange had the same situation. My guess is those exchanges were not using the liquidity pipelines of some of these top exchanges. I haven't looked deeper. I don't know if Coinbase, I don't know what happened with Coinbase. I don't know. I know that a lot of people couldn't buy. That was the other side to this. I actually had some capital left in my account. And when the price got all the way down into the 20s, I was trying to enter long trades from there with what I had left to try and make up for it. Wouldn't let you. Flat out told me you can't enter a long trade until the price is back to 60 cents. I don't know what the hell that was about, but it was basically, it would not let me enter a long trade that low. So and I finally did get into a long trade around, I think it ended up being something like 55 or 58 cents. And I got into a long trade. Again, I think this was only a 3x long. I'm like, I don't even know what's happening. And on top of that, when I tried to get back in the first time, I did get into a trade, but the price was just doing this. It wouldn't go anywhere. But while this is happening on screen, I'm seeing my P&L drop. It was down like $1,500, $2,500. I mean, within seconds, I lost like another $3,000, and I closed the trade, immediately contacted my guy. I'm like, dude, this is all hosed, man. And they're investigating and they're looking into it. And I will say, I haven't been trying to drop the ball on this exchange yet, because they have always been really good about working with me. And I'm not even a huge affiliate. I don't have like a ton of people under me. It's not like I'm this all powerful influencer. I do think that the exchange I work with does try to do the right thing. I will say that. And if they do the right thing and we come out to a fair conclusion, I'm going to sing their praises all over the place, because it's just, I mean, for one, it's just good business. But I do believe that these exchanges should not be shutting down anytime anything happens in the crypto space, completely taking the power away from all users. So that's a whole other issue. But I just saw some stuff. So basically, I think that this was China telling Trump to kiss their ass. That's ultimately what I'm getting at. I feel terrible for those of you out there who I feel like a lot of you that are, I feel like a lot of you that were, this dip was bound to happen. This isn't a dip. This isn't a dip. This is an orchestrated dump. This is orchestrated. This is not, if you think that this is like normal market behavior under normal market conditions, you're absolutely crazy. I'm sorry. There's nothing normal about this. Cardano dropped from like 83 cents to 27 cents in a matter of like 30 minutes. And you think that's normal? No, it's not. And I'm talking about Cardano because that's what I paid the most attention to. But this happened to everything out there. Everything. How does the entire crypto market crash a lot of tokens to zero in minutes? And we're going to call that normal? No. I think that this was a complete wipe of all liquidation. I think the market was over leveraged. I think that this was a complete flush so that we could start to grow again. Now, a lot of people are saying, oh, the market's over, bear market, this and that. Oh, listen, all that shit's out the window right now. All of it's out the window right now. Cardano dropped to 27 cents, pulled back to, it's sitting at 65 cents, right? So, and now the only liquidity that's in the market for Cardano is sitting at $1. So really, there's no reason right now for market makers, if anybody, to try and push the price of Cardano or probably any asset in the space lower. There's no liquidity down there for them. They've already made like $20 billion fucking dollars. If they're going to continue trying to liquidate people that have already been wrecked and they're just trying to get their shit in order again, then I'm done with this fucking market forever. I'm over it. I don't think that's the case. I think all the liquidity is sitting up at $1 and it's all for across the board. I think liquidity is sitting much higher. I think now is the time that everything regrows and regrows bigger and better than it was before. And I know it's really difficult to say right now, and it's difficult to see, but we've seen this kind of thing happen multiple times over multiple cycles. I feel like every cycle has something. It has something that crashes the market out before we start to run. We're only at October 11th, okay? I expected some downward momentum at least until the middle of October, and then probably it was going to get sent into the end of October into what I'm going to be calling Crowvember, because I do believe we're going to be pumping significantly between now, hopefully, and November into December even. But I don't know. So we're going to look at some stuff. Make sure you check out cryptocrow.io and just, check the damn site out, will you? I need your support now more than ever. I will say that I'm working on a series of courses, and I'm going to be putting these courses out on probably a couple different platforms, but all of the members of cryptocrow.io are going to get 100% coupon codes for these courses for free. And the one I'm working on now is how to use AI for business, for all kinds of stuff. And so I've got 10 courses that I'm going to be working on over the coming weeks. And it might even take me 2 weeks just to finish this first one, because it's going to be really, really extensive and really big. But I'm open, and it becomes like one of the end-all be-all courses for anybody that wants to learn AI. But if you're a member of cryptocrow.io, you're going to get all these courses for free. Now, let's take a look. I want to see, because I haven't even read this, and I want to go through a lot of it. And we're just going to talk about it. That's what we're going to do. We're just going to talk about it. Let's make this stuff a little bigger so you guys can see. All right. Donald Trump needs to go to jail. He is a thief. He is literally robbing people internationally. Okay. This I'm going to assume is somebody with TDS. I have not read this yet. To basically assume that Donald Trump intentionally did all of this somehow, or that he even has the power to do this, to me is insane. Okay. He announced 100% tariffs on China and sends the U.S. stock market into a death spiral. I will say this about Trump. Dude, what the fuck? I mean, because honestly, at this point, how do you not know that the market crashes every time you start talking tariffs, especially with China? And what exactly is that getting done for anybody at this point? And by the way, where the fuck are these $2,000 checks that everybody's supposed to get? How about you bump that up to like 10 grand a pop? Because based on all the money that you're supposedly saving with all of this stuff and all of the extra money that the country's generating, I mean, I'm sure that there's a master plan, and that, we have seen so much change since the start of this administration for the better. And I know that a lot of people want to ignore all of that because of their TDS and this orange man bad bullshit. I'm not on that train, but I am definitely skeptical when I see stuff like this happen, especially when I see stuff like this happen after the US markets have closed and all that's left is basically the crypto market. I can only imagine. I haven't even looked. Is there a CME futures gap somewhere up high now that we're going to start aiming towards? I don't know. But at the same time, someone put over $1 billion into crypto with orders for 100 million being placed on Ethereum and Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies across the board, whilst markets got wiped after what he said. Billions, fucking billions got wiped out, whilst Bitcoin had its biggest dip ever in a single candle, losing $20,000 in value per Bitcoin, whilst altcoins lost over 60 to 70% of value. Everyone with leverage on the market with an even 2x leverage got murdered and robbed. 100% facts. That is absolutely true. I was in a 4x leverage trade for 40 grand with double that in added margin to basically bring my liquidation price down so low that it would almost have to be like the bottom of the bear market for it to get liquidated, and I got liquidated. All right, that's what happened. This was coordinated. This was market manipulation with one anonymous wallet making over $200 million in one day with trades showing that they knew Trump was going to announce this and crash the market. Here's the thing. I don't think Trump knew this. I can't imagine. And I'm not trying to put Trump on like this big pedestal of integrity and honesty. Okay. I'm not, but I have a hard time believing that Trump like did this on purpose and that he told his buddies, hey, we're going to announce this. Go get your orders ready because we're going to crash this bitch. I don't think that happened. I think somebody on the inside probably knew. If I were to hazard a guess, I almost already have an idea as to who it was. But I'm not even going to say names or anything. And I'm sure it wasn't him directly. It was probably somebody that works for him. But there are just some shady characters that are kind of buzzing around Trump. I'm sure, just stroking his ego every step of the way, throwing a little cash here and there. I can see the snakes, man. I can see the snakes in the grass. And why can you tell that? Because they transferred $1 billion fucking dollars into stable coins before it happened, waiting for the market to crash to profit off the devastation that Trump was about to cause. He isn't just crashing markets, he is doing it for profit. If you don't understand still about how much this idiot just cost people in international markets, and to give you an idea about how much money was lost, let's look at just two companies. Just on Amazon, their stock crashed 4.4%. That was $104 billion. NVIDIA, 3.94%, $169 billion. That's just two companies. I know that this was a record flush in the TradFi markets as well. I think there's a total of like 1.2 or 1.3 billion dollars, or no, I'm sorry, 1.2 trillion dollars flushed out of TradFi in like no time flat. So everybody's felt the pain of this. This is not okay. It is really not okay. Again, this is a con artist, needs to go to jail. Someone needs to deal with this guy. Absolute scumbag. To be honest with you, I really just, I think this is inaccurate in the sense that I don't think Trump is doing this intentionally. You have to understand this about Trump. I mean, I've read Trump's books. I used to idolize Trump when I was a kid. And then as I got older, I'm like, this guy's kind of a douchebag. Of course, he's got a bunch of failed businesses. He wants to put his name on everything. Everything he puts his name on, he wants wrapped in gold. I mean, this guy is like, he's insane in the sense that ego drives this human being more than probably anything else. Okay. But the guy is at an age where I think he is more concerned at this point in his life about legacy and ego more than anything else. And he's a smart guy, but I mean, I know a lot of people don't want to think so, but I do believe Trump is a smart guy in the sense that he has a lot of business savvy, a lot of business knowledge. He knows how to get what he wants out of people, out of countries. I mean, the guy just brought peace to like 8 countries or 8 international wars. something I don't think anybody's ever done, right? He has a way. He has a way of being firm when he needs to be firm, soft when he needs to be soft. There's just a way about him. And I think that he's trying to affect incredible change against a regime, against an agenda that is literally trying to thwart his efforts at every freaking turn through lies, manipulation, utilizing the media, corporate interests. There's a whole network on a global scale that's constantly trying to shut down Trump's efforts in fighting this globalist agenda that is so blatant and so provable. Because, I mean, there's literature out there that has explained so much of what's happening in other countries like the UK, Canada. I mean, they're all being ran into the ground by a playbook that I've read some of back in 2010. Okay, it's still out there on the internet. You can read it. It was formulated as a bit of a simulation. Like, what would we do if this were to happen? It's all a playbook on everything that's happened so far. I think that I think Trump did these tariffs, and then China basically said, CZ, push the button. That's what I think has happened. We'll see where we all end up at the conclusion of a lot of this. I lost all my money in SUI, $15 million lost. This industry is a scam. Goodbye forever. I feel terrible for these people. I legitimately feel terrible for these people. It's absolutely disgusting. 2 weeks ago, Eric Trump said Q4 will be unbelievable for crypto. Yesterday, the crypto market recorded the largest single-day liquidation event in history. Listen, the only thing I can say is it's not over. It's not over. And there are people, I know how frustrated I've been about getting liquidated for what I was counting on as a down payment for a house. And I understand that when you've been in this space a long time and something like this happens, you feel victimized. You feel like you're completely out of control, because no matter how much you try to do the right thing, no matter how much you try to be safe, not be greedy, but try and play the field, play the game, and then something like this happens that just wrecks you. I understand how it's difficult to look ahead and think that the future looks bright at all. But it is. And you cannot let situations like this that happen maybe once every 4 years destroy your foresight, destroy your interests, your efforts, because we're all here for a reason. And we're literally watching it all unfold. Everything so many of us have been working towards, all the reasons why many of us are here, it's all happening. It's all happening. And we have to be patient. Maybe we have to be more patient, more organized, more safe in what we do, less confident in the sense that everything we're hoping for is going to happen tomorrow. And we have to let go of some of these pipe dreams that we used to be able to have in 2017 and 2021, and know that everything is different now, but we're still going to the same place. And we just have to be more responsible on our path to that place. I genuinely feel terrible for the people that have been wrecked in a lot of this. If you are any of these people out there that are having thoughts that you shouldn't be having, I'm here with you. I'm not having those thoughts, but I'm here with you as somebody who's been here for years. I've lost a lot. I've gained a lot. It is a hustle. It is a game. And it really sucks when you feel like the power's been stripped from you by the exchanges, you were in a position that you were really counting on to do big things for yourself, for your family, for your future, and you watched it all get wiped by a bunch of corrupt, disgusting fucking human beings. And then on top of that, you've got other people dancing on your grave all over social media. I understand, but we're not fucking done yet. We've only just begun to really fight, and the fight is coming. We're doing what we need to do. I have friends that have been loading up on Cardano into the fucking 20s and 30 cents. I mean, I know that a lot of people are scared and they're worried, especially people that don't understand what's happening. But I'm telling you, this is just a new beginning. This is a new beginning where the sky only looks brighter because we only have room to grow up from here. We've already crashed through the floor of the fucking bottom and we've risen back up already. Cardano specifically dropped all the way down to 27 cents. It's currently sitting at 65 cents. It's still higher. I mean, the bottom was like 25 cents in the bear market. Okay. We've already got a flash crash and a rise back up with liquidation all sitting above $1. We are going to get there. It is coming. It's going to happen. How long it's going to take, I don't know. What happens on Monday, I don't know. I know the banks, the market makers, everybody made so much fucking money by just destroying everybody that now all they have everything they need to send this market to the stratosphere. Maybe Eric Trump wasn't talking about this crash that was imposed, I believe, by China, who we pissed off because of these tariff announcements. I don't think that the Trump administration is saying, oh, it's going to be memorable because people are going to be killing themselves in their Lamborghinis because they lost $80 million. I don't think that that's what they're fucking talking about. And I think that anybody that's out here on the internet trying to paint this picture that this was all an intentional thing by the current administration is a fucking nutbag. That's what I think. And I don't think you have enough sense to really put things together in a way that makes actual sense. Why would that make sense for somebody that's starting a new term as a president of the United States to try and intentionally send the markets crashing? Do you not think he's made enough money? Do you think this is about money for someone like him who doesn't even accept his check to be president? He gives his $400,000 a year in presidential salary to charities, and he has since his first administration. You think this is about money for him? Do you think this is about money when you're talking about somebody who has basically spent millions and millions and millions of dollars defending himself against a bunch of cases he knows would have never happened and would have gone away the second he just says, I'm out, I'm done, you guys just run this shit into the ground. I'm not fighting this fight anymore. Do you really think it's about money? Do you honestly think that Trump has to become president, get shot in the ear, go through everything he's gone through just so that he is in a position to basically crash all of the fucking markets so that he can profit from it somehow? Is that really what you think all this effort and risk was worth? Let's think about shit before we say it sometimes. I believe that this was China getting back at Trump and basically saying, we've got controls over everyone in the market. Think about it. It's also a country who every couple of months says, oh, you're not allowed to get into crypto. Oh, you are allowed to get into crypto. Oh, you can hold crypto. Now you can't. Now you can. Now you can't. It's like a back and forth every time and it's like this constant thing. And it's been that way since 2017. And they have their thumb on the face of somebody who controls the largest exchange in the world with liquidity pipelines through pretty much every other exchange in the world. So Trump slaps 100% tariffs on China. China says, oh, okay, well, we'll show you, Mr. Pro-Crypto Administration, what we can do. And they showed us. Within 20, 30 minutes, they can literally liquidate the entire fucking crypto market. Lesson learned. I was furious at Trump myself when I'm sitting here watching as everybody's getting liquidated in the space and Trump is about to speak. And then he starts talking about pharmaceuticals. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? The entire world is basically suffering this apocalyptic crash meltdown. And you're talking about, oh, you're going to save money on your prescriptions. Cool. Because everybody's going to fucking need those prescriptions after this. Are you not aware that this is happening literally in real time while you're telling me that everybody's going to get cheaper fucking Adderall? I don't give a shit. Alex Becker, somebody who I have legitimately grown to respect in the space. Just a funny ass character. You know, deep down inside, just so you know, Alex Becker is a legitimate nerd. He puts on this whole facade with the guns and the abs and everything, but he's a fucking nerd like the rest of us. And I absolutely do love him. I think he's great. If you are not here for COVID and FTX, but you're still standing after this, congrats. You are now an OG. You earned your wings. Now you're about to get paid like an OG. Stand tall, my fellow retard. You made it. He's right. He's right. I feel like every market cycle, something like this, as dramatic as it is, happens, and this is where you earn your wings. This is our rite of passage. I've been through this 3 times, and it I will be honest, it only gets more difficult because this market has been unlike the others, where so much in this space should be much, much higher in price than it was before this happened. But I don't care about whatever that is right now. Just in, BlackRock bought 45,000 Bitcoin worth $5 billion at an average price of $105,000 during the flash crash. There you go. There you go. Where do you think they want Bitcoin's price to go from here? They bought 45,000 Bitcoin at 105 grand. BlackRock, the company that basically founded and runs Aladdin, the biggest algorithmic trading sentiment machine in the history of mankind, that other multi-billion-dollar corporations pay millions and millions of dollars to in licensing fees so that they can try and understand what's happening in the market, the cycles from day to day to week, month to month, and so on, so that they can profit off of everything and everything they do. I'm pretty sure this is an up flag. This is we're in big, $5 billion. Just, I mean, it is not over, folks. It is not over. We just have to be strong enough to weather this shit, suck it up for what it is, make sure your spot bags are full, make sure that you've got, and maybe stay out of leverage. I mean, honestly, if you were just in spot, you weren't really hurt that bad by this. Let's be real about it. This really only affected the people that are trading at leverage on exchanges. And it goes to show, this is, you know, the trade that I was in was me trying to experiment and say, do you absolutely need to use stop losses? What is the point of a stop loss other than a guaranteed loss every time you're wrong? I've experimentally made $6,000, $5,000 after watching my trade go negative by like $15,000 because I didn't put a stop loss in and I used 4x leverage. And if I needed to, for any reason, I would add margin to the trade, lower my liquidation price, and just wait for the recovery to come back up. And it was working, and I was doing really well with it. I mean, I was doing really well with it. Keep in mind, I started my account with $3,300 like several months ago. But when you have something like this happen, well, all bets are off. And I've just learned, like, there's no such thing as safe when it comes to leverage trading. And it doesn't matter what you do or who you are. Bitcoin finally dumped below $100,000. That was 15 hours ago. I mean, it was absolutely incredible. But you know what? This is what I believe. It's a lot of these people just crashing out. A lot of people frustrated. But you know what? This was 7 hours ago. Trump will make a major announcement on Bitcoin and crypto today, says Fox News. This was 7 hours ago. I don't know when. I haven't even looked. This is the first I've heard of it. I'll be very curious to see what he has to say about it. And it'll be very telling. Duo 9, I was almost liquidated last night. Luckily, I was only trading Bitcoin with limit buys waiting. Yeah, good for you, dude. And everybody's got their whole theory, you know, whale guru. The market was over leveraged. Everyone started using leverage, even retail users, exchanges, and big institutions knew it. They waited for the perfect moment, pushed Bitcoin to a new all-time high, created peak FOMO, and then pulled the trigger. I don't think it was. I really don't think it was coordinated that way. I really don't. So while there's like 1,500 of you live right now, first I want to say thanks for joining me in my rant. I want to let you know. So it is October 11th, and Monday, October 13th. Charles Hoskinson, founder of Cardano, should be on with me. I know he's back from his travels to China, Mongolia. I mean, the guy went everywhere. So much stuff to talk about with Charles. I'm actually looking more forward to this interview than I probably have any in the past, because we are at such a pivotal time and so much has been changing with Cardano. And I'm actually very excited to have Charles on and talk about it. I've even noticed there's a lot of stuff that Cardano Foundation has been doing and vowing to do. There's a lot of stuff. And then I don't know how many of you in chat are Copy holders, but as it sits right now, so I'm going to have Charles on the 13th, and then on the 14th, if you are interested or involved at all with Cornucopias, I'm going to tell you this right now. I don't give a shit what you have scheduled or going on the 14th. And I don't know 100% what time it's going to be yet. I'm going to try and announce it probably at least on my X account. You are going to want to watch this Cornucopias interview with the Cornucopias team. I cannot stress this enough. This isn't a fake out. This isn't a like, oh, I'm just trying to get you to watch because whatever, and then we're just going to talk about a silly update. This is going to be pivotal. This is going to be a groundbreaking interview that you are not expecting, that you have no idea what's happening, and it's going to be absolutely huge. It's so huge that they made me sign some shit so that I can't even hint to you anything that's happening. But I'm telling you, on Tuesday, as long as everything lines up for Tuesday, it's going to change Cornucopias forever. That's what I'm going to tell you. So make sure that you're here. If you're interested in Copy, if you're a Copy token holder, if you are interested in the game at all, you better make damn sure you are here with me on the 14th, because I'm going to have the whole team on. And there's a reason for that. It's funny because the emotions are so high. Everything is so high right now. I feel like I'm on like the verge of just having like an emotional dump myself. But even when I was talking to them about everything, I got emotional. Just to put it that way. And you're probably like, but you get emotional all the time about everything. I'm like, you're right about that. But this was a big thing. It's a big deal. Hopefully I made that clear. You better be here on the 14th, or you're definitely going to be missing out. Love you, Crow. Thanks for helping us through this market manipulation. Thank you, Lack. I appreciate it. Listen, I know it's tough, and I know that there are a lot of people that they're having really, really terrible thoughts, and I've been seeing some of this stuff happen. It is what it is. It is what it is. Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't think so. Blaming China is ridiculous. But it's not. It's not. I do believe that I think that everything is going to come out at some point. I think that there's a lot more to this than I think meets the eye. And quite frankly, I feel like if China does have anything to do with it, I think Trump's going to call it out. I think he'll probably tell us. That's one thing about Trump. I feel like everything about this administration is I feel like they do as much out in the open as they possibly can. And so I feel like if Trump knows anything, hopefully he tells everybody today. This happened and that happened, and here's why. I don't know. We'll see. I'm very curious. I'm very curious. Benjamin Cowan should be ashamed of himself. I lost a lot. I have a friend who isn't responding to text, and we don't know where he is. Yeah, I mean, it's very tasteless. It really is tasteless. When you're more worried about being credited for being right during an event like this, at the expense of literally everyone whose lives are ruined, I'm like, you're out to lunch, man. That's narcissism through and through on a level that I don't see much outside of politics. It really is disgusting. I've truly lost all respect for him at this point. I really liked him, and I've said things in the past that have pissed him off, and I'm like, no, man, you're reading it wrong. This is flat out disgusting. It really is disgusting. Get over yourself. Seriously. I don't care if he was technically right. Like I said, every doom and gloomer, every troll in the crypto space was right yesterday. You're not a fucking magician. Like, get over yourself. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know 100% if CZ was activated for something, if it was China. I'm just telling you what I think makes the most sense. I'm not flat out saying this happened. I'm just saying that this is what it looks like based on everything that I've been seeing. And the only thing I can really say at this point is I do believe wholeheartedly that the worst is over. I mean, outside of literally everything going to zero from here, I don't know how it could get worse. So it's just, we have to just be strong. Yeah, Coinbase, Uphold, and Kraken all failed yesterday again. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, why do all of these exchanges shut down at times like this? Why is it like that? It's insane to me. You think he's helping you lack. Hopefully you've been watching Ben Cowan. Crow is an absolute clown. Yeah, I'm a clown. I just need my nose. Crow, we got played. We couldn't even buy at those low prices. Yeah, exactly. Exchanges wouldn't even let you buy. I know that people on Robinhood were able to buy, which it's like, yeah, not your keys, not your crypto. But a friend of mine told me that he had a bunch of orders in just for fun, and they all filled. So he got like 150,000 ADA for like next to nothing. And but Robinhood's all on paper, right? So like you're not actually buying these crypto assets. You can't take your Robinhood Cardano or your Robinhood Bitcoin and send it over to your exchange or your wallet. It doesn't work that way. I'm pretty sure it doesn't work that way. It's all on paper. Nothing leaves or comes to the Robinhood app. Don't you think Ben just had enough of trolls who have been on his back for 3 years straight? Yeah, I get that. I understand that. And I've seen a lot of people just trolling. It's kind of like Charles, right? When we all get mad when Charles lashes out at trolls constantly, just lying and saying all kinds of dumb shit about Cardano because they're like big Solana fucking pump.fun users. And they're like, whatever. I get it. But there's a time and a place, man. There's a time and a place. You don't dance on the graves of everyone around you in the crypto space because you're so happy with yourself. There's a time and a place. And that it's like that. Now is not the time to be running around the internet talking about how fucking great you are, how right you were, how every troll was right yesterday. It would be one thing if we were if everything were just normal, like if this wasn't a orchestrated thing, if Ben would have said, oh, we're going to have an orchestrated dump where we're going to watch everything drop 60 to 70% in an hour, then I'd be like, dude, you are a fucking god. You deserve all the credit in the world. Dance on all our graves. Just tell me more. But he didn't do that. Nothing of the sort. Oh, Bitcoin dominance is going to go back up. Everything's going to go home. Everything. Who gives a shit? Yeah, cool. If it were a regular market, and this orchestrated dump, this liquidation, this just completely wrecking of the entire community, if that wouldn't have played out and it wouldn't have just happened in the natural course of business, I'd be like, all right, Ben. And yeah, Ben is right a lot. I'm not saying he's not. He's a very smart guy. But and I understand that people are constantly trolling him and everything, and he felt the need to validate himself, but this is the wrong day, the wrong occurrence, the wrong circumstance for you to validate yourself while dancing on the graves of people who are literally offing themselves in their cars. Okay? pick a different fucking day to be very like for the ego masturbation. That's all I'm saying. Like it's like add insult to injury. Like, come on, man. Let's be real. And the thing is I think Ben is smart enough to know that like this wasn't a part of his predictions. This wasn't like, I've already made my case on it. I'm not even going to talk about it anymore. I'm done. I'm done with it. It is what it is. It's disgusting to me, but you know, I still have faith. Just hodl and take profits. This is insider trading, which is not regulated. Yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? When you're talking about the crypto world, it's a double-bladed sword, folks. You know, it's like, is crypto a security? No. All right, cool. So we can do what we want with it. Cool. All right, but the flip side to that is there's no protection. There's no protection in the crypto space from stuff like this. There's nobody to go after. There's no nothing, because as of it's still technically unregulated. There are technically no real laws associated with it. It's a completely different asset class. And until those things come, and you know, if you want to be real about it, maybe given that very fact is why this has all just happened to completely flush and reset the entire market. The most record liquidation in the history of crypto, right before a lot of these new big laws and things start hitting. And then there are laws and there is regulation and there is stuff to basically start protecting people from events just like this. Maybe that was it, because the more of these ETFs that start kicking off, do you think these major institutions are going to suffer this kind of bullshit? But I do believe that the fact that it's even possible to liquidate the entire crypto space, to wipe out all leverage in the entire market in a matter of 30 minutes, there's a problem. There's a problem. And if I were in charge of anything, I would say these liquidity pipelines gotta go. Like that's all there is to it. You build your own markets. You do everything yourself. Because you should not be able to basically affect change from one exchange and have it spill out over into the entire market, shutting down every exchange in the world. Like, no. That needs to change. Plain and simple. I was able to buy ADA on Uphold. That's the only one that would work for me. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, everything's back now, but let's see. We all know what we signed up for. It's not Ben's fault people leveraged and lost. He may not have known he was being insensitive. He's not evil, but he may be more machine than man. Fair enough. But, you know, when it's like, no, it's not his fault that everyone was leveraged and that everybody lost. It's not his fault. I'm saying pick a better time to dance on the graves of everyone in the space that basically that fuels you, and maybe you do it in a different way. Because I read a post on X and I was like, it made my stomach hurt. I was like, are you kidding me right now? This is what you're concerned with? Gloating that you were right in this red sea of absolute destruction and turmoil, and this is where your head's at? You're a different kind of person, man. Like, you're a different kind of person. Of course, I'm not blaming him for the liquidations or the manipulation or the orchestration of everything. I'm not blaming him for any of that. I'm just blaming him for being him, is basically what it boils down to for me. Be better. Like, as a matter of fact, that's how he was like, that's something he said in his post, be better. I'm like, wait a minute. What, be better because people were trolling you and saying you're wrong? I get trolled every time I go live by Solana fanboys and degenerates from all over the globe. You know, it's like I just laugh them off for the most part, or I get rid of them. I mean, it is what it is, man. I mean, some people are just naturally stupid. You can't help them. Nothing you can do about it. Still holding my ADA from 26 cents. Coinbase didn't let people buy ADA at that price. They never dropped their price that low. They kept their prices like 78 cents when it was in the 40-cent range. Yeah, I mean, because well, you know what? Good for Coinbase. Maybe yeah, you know, good for Coinbase. I might look into that. because it's obvious that this was a complete fakery. I mean, it was a complete fakery. And it's just, yeah. Binance literally liquidated the whole market. It's scary. They have so much control. Only Coinbase has its own liquidity. LMAO. Well, I think Coinbase does. Cohen just responded to your tweet. I mean, I don't care. I mean, it is what it is. I'm sure it wasn't nice. I don't really care. Retail got kicked out of the market yesterday, and I don't see them coming back. The rest of this cycle is going to be institutional. So hopefully we pick the right bags to fill up on. Yeah. Coinbase bottomed out at 62 cents for ADA because Coinbase doesn't use Binance's liquidity pipeline. The whole thing was the manipulation. And yeah. I think we can all put these pieces together and understand exactly what's happened here. And unfortunately, I wasn't on Coinbase. So I'm still waiting to see, what's going to come of it for me and hopefully others. But as of right now, all I can really say is that welcome to the new beginning. I mean, and I do believe that given where we're at right now in the market, everything that's happening from regulation to all these ETFs, all these different investment vehicles, even as it relates to Cardano alone, there's so much substantial stuff happening in the space right now. Just don't lose hope. Be more responsible. Don't be a degenerate in the space. We've all learned anything could happen at any moment, and we will not have any control over it. There's just nothing any of us can do to fight it. There are much, much bigger powers than us in the crypto space, and we have to recognize that, and we have to understand it. Like somebody said earlier, we all know what we signed up for. The crypto space is still very much like the wild, wild west. And while things have been getting better, it's still not where we need them to be. But I do believe that change is happening. It's coming, and it's going to be here. And the overall truth of it is the decentralization of the entire global financial market is starting, and it is a good thing. Other countries, I mean, look at what's happening in the UK. Look at what's happening in Canada. Look at what's happening in these places that are ran by people that are absolutely not about the people, but their own forms of control. And you can see there's the roadmap. See where they're at right now and see what the basically like decentralized finance and everything that we've been in this space for so long is trying to combat. And it's one of the reasons why I'm all Cardano. It's the only truly decentralized chain out there, in my opinion, next to Bitcoin, and it's Bitcoin on steroids. And in fact, it's going to be empowering Bitcoin to be even better soon. So I think that we just have to maintain our heads and really just continue pushing forward. It was a bad day. And now it's time we start moving back up. We start rising again, getting back on track. And I do believe we will. I'm very curious to see what happens Monday. I'm very curious to see what happens, what Trump talks about. Yeah, that's it. I'm just going to leave it at that and just say, hey, don't lose hope. I haven't lost hope. I know where we're going. I'm very confident in the future of crypto, the future of Cardano, the future of Bitcoin. Even Ethereum, for that matter, even though I just saw another thing about Ethereum, like, oh, privacy is now our forefront. Like, okay, why don't you just call yourself Cardano, like old Cardano, new Cardano? I don't know. Like everything Ethereum is doing right now, it's just like chasing the tail of Cardano, and it's just like it's not going to happen, man. I mean, it's just not. Like people that are holding and hoping for Ethereum to become like Cardano, but with like a first market. It's not going to happen. Cardano or Ethereum is going to have its uses, I'm sure, no matter what. And the institutions seem to love it because it was like the first to market with smart contracts, and that's cool. But Cardano is definitely where it's at. I mean, it's been provably such. I mean, it hasn't shut down once. I mean, it is what it is, man. I would say, listen, folks, use this weekend to just come to terms with what's happened. Get your game plan together for Monday. And we start grinding. We start working again. We start getting back into the swing of things as they were, but better, knowing that all arrows point to up, and we're going to get through it just fine. I mean, we're still at what I believe is ultimately the beginning, and it's going to get better. Things are going to look more and more promising as the days continue through the month of October. And we can all create our conspiracy theories and our opinions of what we think happened and this and that. And I'm sure there's probably a little truth, but mostly bullshit in all of them, because none of us really know. All we can do is learn from the experience, be better because of it, and always, Benjamin, and hopefully we can all start moving up together once again. And I'm sure that over the next 90 days, we're going to look back at this and we're going to say, man, that was screwed up, but look at where we are now. We are all OGs in crypto. Until next time, thanks for joining me, folks. I am the Crypto Crow. I will see you again soon. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.